Step 1 wrap-up questions, about halfway down the page. These are ones I go through with guys I work with. 1, can you or could you control the amount you drink once you started to drink? And if a guy says, yeah, I could control, but then I ask him a question. Say, well, if you could control how much you drank, did you ever tie one on and get in trouble? Well, yeah. And I'd say, okay, can you tell me the difference? When you started to get drunk, did you realize that drunk was going to end up in a DWI versus this drunk over here where you had 2 and you went home and had a nice night? And the guy goes, no, I couldn't tell you which night was going to be which. Now we're on to something. You don't have to wake up the beast every time you take alcohol. You don't have to have physical craving every time you take alcohol in. For some alcoholics do. Every time they take a drink of alcohol, they wake up the physical craving, the beast comes alive, and they're off to the races, and it's for however long they're going to drink. The drink tells them how long it's going to drink. They have no control. I was a periodic. Sometimes I could take 2 drinks. Sometimes, if I took 2 drinks, I'd wake up 3 weeks later going, whoa, what happened? And have to run around to all my friends and say, what did I do? I'm not in jail, so I couldn't have been that bad. I'm out of money, so I must have had a good time. Anybody relate with that? 2, do you believe that physical craving would occur if you took a drink today? Interesting. 3, could you take 2 drinks a day for 30 days? No more, no less. A lot of people call this the Marty Mann test. If you go into our history, Dr. Bob gave this test before Marty Mann was even in sobriety. He gave it to a young kid, one of the first kids, and he said that he was too young to be an alcoholic. He said, you know where he sent him? Down to the Mayflower Hotel, same place where Bill got. And he said, go down there with a bottle, take 2 drinks a day, and if you can stay down there and only drink 2 drinks a day, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And the kid came back 30 days later with his tail between his legs and says, I didn't even make it. I knew I was dead after the first day. But he stayed out for 30 days drinking. Luckily, he made it back. 4, does your experience abundantly confirm that once you put alcohol into your system, something happens in the body and mental sense which makes it virtually impossible for you to stop? 5, did you ever drink when you didn't want to, even after swearing drinking off forever? If you're into history, if you look back at Bill's family Bible, he used to write these things to Lois, and it started out with, Lois, I found Christ, and thank God I will never drink. I've been saved, I'm born again, and I will never ever touch another drop. And then 2 years later, there's another inscription. And dear Lois, thank you for sticking with me. I will do my best. I swear I'm stunned forever. And then, dear Lois, one more humiliation, and I'm going to try it one more time. With God's help, I'll be successful. And they just get progressively worse. After swearing off drinking forever, we pick it up. Why? We tell ourselves, when we swear to our wife or our spouse that we're never ever going to touch another drop, and then we're drunk 3 hours later, when we swore, we meant it. We could pass a lie detector test. How did we get into a bar in 3 hours? Delusion. Alcoholics do not have denial. We have delusion. Let me paraphrase that. If you grew up in an alcoholic household or you're married to an alcoholic, guess what? You're a double winner. You got both. The Al-Anon side of you has denial, and the AA side of you has delusion. And I'm a double winner. 6, do you believe that personal knowledge is of no use with respect to your drinking? 7, do you believe that you will be unable to stop drinking on the basis of self-knowledge? 8, do you believe that loss of power in the choice to drink? I can't even read. Do you believe that you have lost the power of choice in drink? 9, do you believe that you have only 2 choices today, to live spiritually or to die an alcoholic death? Interesting. As my friend Chris says, there ain't no door number 3. Door number 1, door number 2. Everything in this program is live spiritually or die an alcoholic death. At 10 years sober, and I'll speak for both of us, we were as dead as an alcoholic can be. It's the worst possible alcoholic death in the world, is being 10 years without the only thing in your life that has ever worked for you, which is alcohol. And you've been 10 years without the love of your life. And you're suffering and dying in the rooms of AA, where the answer is right here. And the only thing that blocks you off from it is yourself, your own ego. And you can't see it. Why? Because alcoholics don't have denial. We have delusion. The picture in our mind is hopeless. We don't even see that we're off base. Yet every indication in our life is that we're dying an alcoholic death. 10, do you believe you have a spiritual malady which creates unmanageability in your life? 11, do you believe that lack of power is your dilemma? 12, do you believe that a time may come where you have no effective mental defense against the first drink? You notice it says effective mental defense. 13, do you believe that your defense must come from a higher power? And 14, do you believe that you have to find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problem? You notice who solves the problem? The power solves the problem. You don't work the 12 steps so that you can get yourself better. This is not a self-help program. This is a God-help program. And if you haven't found God, you're in deep, deep kimchi. You got to find a power greater than yourself. Because your power got you to AA. Thank goodness it did. And you better get off that donkey and get on another donkey now that you're here, or you're not going to make it. You know, this inventory that Mark was talking about, I've had some of the most profound spiritual experience that I've ever had in my life. I've had some of the facing of reality. I couldn't imagine that I'd be this sick, this sober. That's my ego talking, you know, that it had this delusion built for me that I couldn't possibly be this sick, this sober. I had a whole series of amends, and just the amends that I've done so far, and I have more to go in my own home group. I went to each one of those people and I said, you know, I've been projecting this dishonesty that I was absolutely 100% asleep to. I didn't see it, but now I see it. And I'm here to clean up my side of the street. And without fail, every single one of the members of my home group looked at me straight in the eye and said, yeah, I saw it. I saw how far off the beam you were. I'm so glad you're back. And I looked back at him and I couldn't believe it. You saw that I was that far off the beam and you said nothing? And the reality was, it's not their fault. Who's responsible for my sobriety and my connection to God? Me. I had projected such an image to everybody around me that virtually everybody that I thought had spiritual license in my life, they were afraid to approach me. I was unapproachable because I'm Dave, the speaker. I'm the sponsor. I'm this bullcrap. I'm that bullcrap. I almost died in one of the biggest big book thumping meetings in North Jersey. And everybody except me knew I had the problem. So ask yourself the question. If you see people, love them enough, if you have spiritual license, put away your fear. Go to them in the spirit of love. Ask God to speak through you and just shine the mirror. You plant the burr under the saddle and they ride long enough, and guess what? The donkey's going to throw them. You know, because it can't take the irritation. That little teeny pebble. At my heart, at your heart, we are all the same. We are all love. When you look at a little kid, a brand new little kid, and he starts toddling, what is their reaction? The reaction is the same to everybody. They could go up to Jeffrey Dahmer, and they're going to go, and they're going to smile, and they're going to love unconditionally. Every one of us in this room started out that way. So what the hell happened to us? That little absolute perfect loving creature is in each one of us. Find them. They're there. All you have to do is get rid of the crap that's on top. It's there. And what happened on Mark's couch was I saw that little kid inside me again. And now I can look out and I look for the sparkling eyeballs. I look for the eyes, and I pick various people through a workshop, you know, that have the sparkling eyeballs, because that's the window to the soul, and I see that little kid inside, that little pure loving child. It's there. I don't care what you have done in your sobriety or what you've done in your drinking. God doesn't care. You're forgiven. Now, what are you going to do with it? You got 12 steps in your spiritual toolbox. You got 12 traditions, you got 12 concepts, and you got more raw material than you could ever want in your own home group. Let's not be accessories to murder. The difference is you have to be in touch with that little loving child inside you to be able to save somebody else's life, to be able to throw them the lifeline. So if you're going to be effective for God, if you're going to be the spearhead, as the book says, of the intelligent spearhead of his ever-advancing creation. Remember, conscious, awake, we have to be intelligent. You're going to have to be in touch with that little loving child.